Alright, this problem asks us to find V. V is the value of a Riemann sum as k goes from 1 to n of f of c sub k times delta x sub k. They give us the partition which contains the values from 0 to 4, and 6. And the function that they give us is x squared plus 1. So I've drawn a very bad drawing of the graph of f of x equals x squared plus 1. And the red lines that I have here represent the partition that is given, where you start where x is equal to 0, then x is equal to 2, x is equal to 4, then x is equal to 6. In this particular problem, they're asking us to evaluate the sum, or this Riemann sum, using the left endpoints. What that means is for each subinterval that's given here, I'm going to look at the left side where the graph and the rectangle intersect. So wherever I have a red dot here, these are going to be the left endpoints that we're referring to. I'm going to color these rectangles so that we can just make sure we know where they are. Again, that's a poor graph, but I give, hopefully you still get the point of what I'm trying to do. Alright, so we're going to evaluate the Riemann sum. We need to figure out what these variables represent. Well, n represents the number of subintervals that we have, or the number of rectangles. And you notice that we have 3 subintervals or rectangles. K, of course, is the index, which means that we're going to start from 1 and go to K. So K goes from 1 to 3. Next thing that we will look at, what is delta x sub k? Well, delta x sub k, remember k goes from 1 to 3, so delta x sub 1 is going to give us the width of our first rectangle. Delta x sub 2 gives us the width of our second rectangle. And delta x sub 3 gives us the width of our third rectangle or subinterval. So delta x sub k is going to be equal to 2 in each case. What does that mean? Simply it means delta x sub 1 equals delta x sub 2, which equals delta x sub 3, and all of them have the value of 2. The next thing we need to find before we evaluate what V is C sub k. Again, k goes from 1 to 3, so let's figure out what C sub 1 is equal to. C sub 1 is going to be the x value where I have that first dot, that first left endpoint, and that's going to be where x is equal to 0. C sub 2 is going to give us the second dot. That's the second left endpoint. That gives us C sub 2 is equal to 2. C sub 3, which would be our last left endpoint that touches the curve, and that is going to be where x is equal to 4, so C sub 3 is equal to 4. We now have the tools so that we can evaluate the Riemann sum. So V is equal to f of c sub 1 times delta x sub 1 plus f of c sub 2 times delta x sub 2 plus f of c sub 3 times delta x sub 3. C sub 1 is equal to 0, so f of 0 times delta x sub 1 we know is equal to 2 plus f of c sub 2 is going to be f of 2, c sub 2 is equal to 2, times delta x sub 2, which is equal to 2, plus f of c sub 3. C sub 3 is equal to 4, so that would be f of 4, times delta x sub 3, which is equal to 2. F of 0 is, to find that, I will plug 0 into our function, x squared plus 1. I get 0 squared plus 1, which gives me 1, times our value of 2, plus f of 2 is going to be 2 squared plus 1, which gives me 5, times our value of 2, plus f of 4 is 4 squared plus 1, which is 16 plus 1, 17 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2, 5 times 2 is 10, 17 times 2 is 34. Adding all of those together, we get 46. So the value of our Riemann sum is equal to 46.